Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Welcome to the end of August, which means my top 5 houseplants of August. So today I'm going to show you 5 plants that I've really been loving this month. And I like to do these videos just to keep you guys updated on my plants. You do see every single plant haul that I do, and so I just like to show you guys how my plants are doing each month. So I do feature 5 plants for the month, and then I do feature 1 plant that isn't doing so well. But let's get started with the top 5, the plants that are doing great this month. So the first plant that I'm going to show you is this Oxalis. It is closing up right now because it is probably like about 6 o'clock at night, so it does start closing when the sun starts going down. But this plant, so originally I bought 2 purple Oxalis and then 1 of the green, and those plants just totally died off. I didn't know what I was doing with the plant and they did die. But I took the tubers and I grabbed them in my hand and I just threw them all in the pot, covered them up with soil, stuck them outside in the heat, and where they got probably 5 hours of good sunlight. And then I would go out there and water them every other day, and they grew into a beautiful plant, and they are also blooming. So this is a plant that I really enjoy, and I love when it's fully open. It does reach towards the sun, and it's just a beautiful plant, and it is one of the plants here on my top 5 of August. Okay, so the next plant on my top 5 of August is this bear paw. So I've had this plant for a while. I did get it when it was quite small. It was in, I believe, a 4-inch pot from Home Depot or Lowe's, one of those. But it is blooming. Sorry, my hands are a little shaky, but it is blooming. And so it does have that bloom there, and it looks like it's about to have another bloom here. But it's just such a cute plant. I really like this plant. It does sit in my south-facing window, and I do water it probably every 2 weeks. Even though it's sitting in that hot sun all day long, it doesn't need to be watered that often. Every 2 weeks is plenty for this plant, and it is doing great. So that is another plant on my top 5 of August. So the next plant on my top 5 houseplants of August is going to be my variegated peace lily, or Domino peace lily. So I did pick this one up. I think I got it last month from Hertz, and it came very beautiful. I think 1 leaf only was broken. It did have blooms on it when I got it, and it has bloomed about twice for me. This plant is so easy. It does require a lot of water though. I cannot let this plant dry out. It will wilt the leaves down, and you know that it's time for water, but I try not to let it get to that point because I think that it likes to keep the soil pretty much moist. Water this plant every single week, and I also fertilize this plant every single week, and it seems to be doing great. It has grown not too many leaves for me. I do see some new leaves growing down in the center. It's probably grown about 3 leaves since I've had it, which is perfectly fine. I mean, I think it's doing great. But this is definitely one of my top 5 houseplants here in the month of August. So the next plant that is on my top 5 of August is going to be my variegated lipstick plant. So this plant has grown a lot for me. Up top you can see the new growth. So it has all that new growth. It hasn't really, it does grow a little bit of new growth on the trails here, but it hasn't really grown too long on the trails. But it is growing a lot up top, so I think that's fine. I also do fertilize this plant every single time I water it, and I do water this plant every week as well. I also lift up the the trails, and I look under there and make sure there isn't any pest or any dead leaves or anything like that, just to keep it healthy. It does sit on the top shelf in my dining room. It has the shelf to itself, and it gets a lot of south-facing sun, but it is filtered sun because it is covered by a patio, but it does get a lot of sun over there. But this plant is just so beautiful. I'm so happy that I have it. And it is definitely one of my top 5 plants here in the month of August. So the last plant here on my top 5 of August is going to be my purple velvet plant, or purple vine. I just love this plant. It is so beautiful. I got it when it was really small. I got it from Walmart for maybe like $3. And it was in a small 2-inch pot. It has grown a lot for me, and I just stuck it in this little pot here that you can hang up on the wall, but I just have it hanging on a rack in my south-facing window. If you guys missed my dining room plant tour, I don't know, maybe it was like 5 or 6 videos back, I will link it up here just so you guys can take a look and see where most of these plants sit in my house. But this plant is just so beautiful. It has grown a lot for me. I love the colors. I love the purple and the green. It has new growth coming out here. And when I was watering it the other day, I did notice right here on this leaf, if you guys can see that, it's like, looks like 2 buds, like the plant is going to flower. Well, I guess I'll just have to keep an eye on it and see if it does flower. But it looks different than leaves. It looks like buds or flower. It's going to flower. I do fertilize this one as well, and I think that it responds very well to the fertilizer that I use. And it's just such a beautiful plant. It does love the sun. It does love to have moist soil. This one will also curl in the leaves, or they'll look really kind of like, maybe like this one, how it's starting to curl down when it needs to be watered. But I watch this one carefully because I really love it, and I think it's such a beautiful plant. So this one is definitely on my top 5 houseplants of August. Okay, so those were my top 5 favorite houseplants of August. I've really been loving them this month. They're doing very well for me. They are growing. Like I said, my purple velvet vine, it looks like it's going to flower. So if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is keely.joy, and I will make sure to put pictures of that plant on Instagram if it blooms, because I'm really excited to see if it's going to bloom or not. But I'm going to show you a plant that is not doing so great. This plant has never been doing so great. I just don't know about this plant, you guys. It is the Monstera Adansonii. When I first got this plant, I was so excited to find it because I found it at Lowe's, and I brought it home, and I thought it was doing great. Like, it was growing and it was so pretty, and next thing you know, I start seeing like brown on the leaves, and some of the leaves were turning yellow. And so I started looking at it really close, and it had mealybugs. So I treated the mealybugs, and I thought that I got rid of them all. And when I inspected it a few weeks later, it still had mealybugs. So I kept treating it every single week. I was treating this plant, and finally I got rid of the mealybugs. But then, next thing you know, it has spider mites. So this thing got spider mites. They started destroying the leaves. If you can see this one here, it's like brown and yellow. So I finally got rid of the spider mites, but this plant has just taken a beating. It is very bare in the middle. It just hasn't been growing very well. This is one plant that I have not been fertilizing, just because you're not supposed to fertilize when your plant isn't doing so great. you can actually do more harm than good when your plant isn't doing good and you fertilize it. I do notice some new growth in here though, like this one here is new. This one is the newest leaf that has unfurled. There's some other new growth coming out, but it's just a slow grower. It's giving me so many problems. At one point I just wanted to toss it, but I kept working on it and finally it's pest free. Let me know, you guys, if your Monstera adansonii get pests as well. I don't know how this plant ended up getting mealybugs and spider mites like that. I don't know, this poor plant. It still has brown and yellow leaves, so I will keep an eye on this plant. Real quick, I'm going to show you guys what I fertilize my plants with. I'm sure that you guys have seen this if you watched any of my videos, but it is the Neptune's Harvest organic fertilizer. I absolutely love this stuff. It works very well on my plants. It does keep them healthy. It keeps them growing new leaves all the time. And then as we saw on the purple velvet plant, it looks like it's about to bloom. So this one is made of fish protein, so it does stink. So there is this orange wrapper one, and then they also do have a blue one. The blue one stinks a lot worse than this orange one, but this stuff really does help my plants and I do love it. Real quick, I have had a lot of questions about fertilizer. There are different types of fertilizers. There are organic fertilizers and there are synthetic fertilizers. The synthetic fertilizers are made in a lab, so they are much stronger. Their numbers are a lot higher if you look on the box or the container that they come in. I do have a Miracle Grow that is, let me grab it real quick. So the Miracle Grow that I have is 24,816, and the numbers, so this is the Miracle Grow that I have. This is what I first started out with. I got it on clearance at Walmart for $2, so I picked it up. I didn't really notice that it helped my plants too much, so I started looking into other options. So the numbers on the bottle or the container that you buy your fertilizer in, the first number is nitrogen, which is just for plant color and plant growth. So the second number on the bottle is phosphorus, and phosphorus is good for flowering plants and fruit plants or fruit trees. And then the third number on the bottle is potassium. So potassium is for strong roots and just overall healthy plants. It also helps in disease prevention. So I think fertilizers are really good for our plants. When I first started out, I didn't use fertilizers and my plants did grow. My plants did survive. But out in nature, plants get fertilized by leaves falling from the tree and making compost, worms, worm castings, rainwater, stuff that we just don't have naturally in our homes. We can provide them with worm castings, which would be a fertilizer. We can, you know, collect rainwater and water our plants with that, which is also helpful for our plants. But I just think that fertilizers overall help our plants a lot. There are many different types of fertilizers. The synthetic fertilizers, if you are going to use a synthetic fertilizer, I would only use half the strength, and maybe not every time you water, but every other time you water in the growing season, such as spring, summer, and fall. But every time I water my plants, I always use this fertilizer just because it's organic. It's a really light fertilizer. It's only a 2-4-1, so it's not harmful to my plants. So I really do love this fertilizer. All right, you guys, so if you have stuck with me this long, this is the end of the video. I want to do a quick little giveaway to give somebody a little bottle of the Neptune organic fertilizer that I use. I am not sponsored by this company. I just love this fertilizer. I think that it really helps my plants. So I thought that I'd do a quick little giveaway. So down in the description box, you will see a link for the giveaway. All you have to do is be subscribed to my channel. The giveaway will end on Thursday. I will then notify the winner by email. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more plant videos, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And I just want to thank everybody for watching. And until next time, guys, bye.